In 1986, Bandai took 3 games originally released as licensed titles in Japan, changed the sprites around to avoid copyright, and brought them over to America under the Character Action Series trilogy. This series was released pretty early in the NES lifespan as some of the first third-party titles for the system, and today's game is the last of that trilogy. Ninja Kid, originally released as Gegege no Kataru Yokai Daimakyo, translating to The Evil Yokai Mirror. Gegege no Kataru, like most licensed games so far, was originally a manga series which was then released as an anime. The manga dating back all the way to 1960 and ending in 1969 in Weekly Shonen magazine, written by Shigeru Mizuki. It was about a yokai boy named Kataru, and if you only think yokai are weird anime ghosts that you control in a Pokemon ripoff, actually yokai are what Japan refers to as apparitions or ghosts. Unlike Western ghosts, which are usually just their spirit or soul, yokai usually have spiritual or supernatural power, and come in all sorts of shapes, sizes, and creatures too. Unlike other 60s manga series that had games I reviewed already, Gegege no Kataru seems to be considered an all-time classic since its inception, probably due to the fact every decade seems to introduce a new anime series for a new generation, keeping the legacy alive. Even delving into the world of live-action movies. But of course, when the game was brought over to the West, Kataru, Nezumi Otako, and the main theme song were changed, and in its place is this generic ninja character. The new Ninja Kid here now has the same stupid face Chubby Cherub has, which may fit into my game theory. Chubby Cherub is the dead soul of Ninja Kid, who died and was sent to heaven to be God's right-hand angel, thus explaining why they share the same face. Also, it makes complete sense because most of what you'll be doing in Ninja Kid is dying. But let's not get too ahead of ourselves. First thing I'd like to take notice is the fact this game has an overworld level select. I don't know if this was a thing beforehand, but this means this game did something Super Mario Bros. 3 would pretty much enter in a standard gaming convention. But let's not get too hasty, it's not that special. For one, you're so slow in this overworld, it's just tedious. Secondly, these castles pretty much shift every time you start a new game, meaning it's possible to go straight to the end just to be stuck awkwardly. Thirdly, these castles don't have a specific level to them, they'll just randomly choose one of 4 levels for you to complete, thus missing the point entirely. It was probably a novel idea at the time, but now it's just pointless. Anyways, as I said, there are 4 different levels to complete, usually with a different goal on how to complete it, or play it. The most common one is Guerrilla Warfare. Here you must kill 10 enemies, then grab a scroll to complete the level. If this level seems familiar, well, it plays a lot like Ninja Jaja Maruken, because guess what? They were both developed by the same company, Toze. But here it's a lot more tolerable without those stupid blocks you have to destroy to get from level to level. But one thing you'll notice right off the bat when you first start playing is how much you die in this game. The enemies seem to always have an upper hand throwing projectiles at you or being in the right location where you land. Chances are you'll barely make it to part 2 of the game and be stuck in part 1 again and again and again, constantly restarting. I can't say the controls are terrible because they control fine, so I can't call it unfair, but I don't know. Something's up if these enemies always have the upper hand. Anyways, my strategy for this level is just get on the bottom floor and shoot constantly moving left. And it pretty much works every time. The second most common level is Poison Field. Here you'll just collect the ghost. Noticeable in this game, while it repeats the same type of levels, the levels themselves do have a different set piece to play the level on. Here can be a graveyard or some forest area. This is probably the easiest of the levels, as you just collect the ghosts and the enemies don't really fight back as they just sort of roll around, making them much easier to dodge. That is, until God starts dropping shit on you. What God, you want me to be a cherub this soon? I guess the world can crumble into a world of yokai then. The level I got the least was Blazing Inferno. It might be the most annoying of the 4 as you must guide this fire yokai to light all the candles, but it's always positioned in an awkward way, meaning you gotta jump around just to light it. Not much else to say, it's just there. The last and certainly least of all the levels is Dogfight. Shoot 10 enemies in a shoot 'em up stage. Yeah, you should know how I feel about shoot 'em ups so far, and this has to be one of the worst shoot 'em ups I ever played for this series. For one, your movement feels like you have to build up momentum before it can actually move, and this is for a level requiring you to constantly stop to shoot. On top of that, the enemies themselves have like a pixel of a hitbox, meaning it'll take some luck if you manage to complete this one. Sometimes at the end of one of these levels, you'll go into like this mini-boss stage where you need to shoot some creature with a giant eye. It happens at complete random and doesn't add much. It's just annoying. But hey, you'll fight such iconic enemies like Fox and Frankenstein's monster. I should add, in the levels you might find power-ups. Other than the ones that make you invincible for a while, most of them just upgrade your weapon, which I might add, already kills everything in one hit. So it's just a false sense of achievement. After taking down all the pagodas, it's off to the main castle in the center where it's time for the challenge of Shangri-La, where you'll fight a boss. Yup. By the way, this game has no continues, so die and it's all the way to the beginning. But looking at playthroughs of this game online, Ninja Kid has no ending. It just goes on forever. So you can tell that you're better off skipping this game. The best way I can describe it is that it's a bunch of half-decent ideas sort of glued together in an awkward mess. If you were a kid that liked Gegege no Kitaro back in the 80s, I'd say it wouldn't be that horrible compared to other licensed games, but it served its purpose and now it's obsolete. But where would it rank in the character action series trilogy? Well, it's definitely a lot better than Chubby Chera, but honestly, out of the three, I still have to prefer Muscle Tag Team Match.